Hey, Casa Sidobi's Pastor John here, and I hope you are all doing well. I'm here to talk about what's coming up on Sunday. So, this Sunday, November 15th, we are having Stewardship Sunday, which is a day in which we share our gifts and sort of take into account what we have and how we can best not only do good for ourselves, but do good for our community. And so if you're coming by starting at 9 o'clock to 10:30, Pastor Michael and I will be in the parking lot. We'll be doing blessings for people and praying with people. And then if your parents have a pledge card, they can drop it off in the parking lot, very safely distanced. Of course, there will be some biblical characters in the parking lot who will be collecting those pledges, and it should be a fun day. And then we'll go into Fun Day School at 12. So a couple of things I want to talk about today is, what do we do with our treasures? This year I have is kind of a treasure box, got a little lock on it, and it reminds me of a story that Jesus talked about a very rich king who went on a journey. And when he was gone, he had three servants. He called three servants together. And he said, you know what, while I'm gone, I want you to look after things for me. So the first one he gave 10 pieces of gold to. The second one he gave 5 pieces of gold. The last one he gave 3 pieces of gold. And he went on his journey. Well, when he came back, he said, how'd everything go? And the first servant said, great. He said, remember those 10 pieces of gold you gave me? Well, I invested them in clean energy, some windmills and solar panels, and I doubled your money. So that 10 is now 20 pieces of gold for you. And the king said, well done. Very good. I'm so glad that you invested in clean energy too. That is wonderful. And so then he went to the second servant and said, how did you do? I said, oh, well, that 5 pieces of gold you gave me, I turned into 10 pieces of gold because I invested it in clean environment and clean water and air filtration and alternative ways of recycling and using our resources better. And he said, that's great. And you doubled it? Yeah. She said, that 5 is now 10. And so he said to her, well done, good and faithful servant. You did a great job. Then he went to the one who had 3. And he said, and you, what did you do? And the person said, oh, I was scared. I wasn't sure what to do. I thought about investing in coal and other fossil fuel industries, but then I thought, no, you're a kind of a shrewd man, and I knew you wouldn't like that. So I just buried it in a hole. Here's your 3 back. the king got very angry, and he said, I left this money with you expecting you to do something with it, and you didn't. And so you just hid it away. And I can't really trust you now. And so you're going to have to go away. So it's a harsh story, but Jesus is telling it because we, as God's people, are entrusted with things. We are entrusted with talents. We are entrusted with gifts that God gives us that are meant to share. And if we don't do anything, then what good is it for anyone? I have a gift for talking, okay? And so one of the things that I thought as I was preparing for all this is, what can I do with my gift for talking? Oh, well, you know what? I like preaching and I like teaching. So I am going to do that. And that's how I developed my gift. And so I hope, because gifts don't just have to be money. Gifts can be time, gifts can be talent, it can be anything. And this story Jesus told, the parable of the talents, the word talent, because talent in Jesus's time was a coin. the word talent then became used as a gift that we are meant to develop. And so if you're talented in something. So what is your talent and how would you use it to enhance the community? Secondly, we are going to learn in Fun Day School about a special woman named Deborah. We don't hear too many stories in the Bible about women leaders, but I think in 2020, as we are celebrating 100 years of women having the vote, I think it's a wonderful thing to study Deborah, because Deborah was a judge, and a judge in ancient Israel was somewhere between a prophet and a leader. And they would come up during times of trouble and they would lead the people. And in the story of Deborah, she is raised up to lead the people of Israel, God's people, and she's raised up by God. And the wonderful thing about Deborah, the story says she sat under a palm tree and judged. So she would lead her people while sitting under a palm tree. How wonderful, because we think about that here in Arizona with all our palm trees. And I like to think of Deborah just sitting under a palm tree and leading the people. And so she was a leader during a time of trouble and war. And there was this mean general named Sisera who was bothering them. And then she had a general named Barak or Barak, either one you can say. And she said, you know what, Barak, go out and fight Sisera and defend the people. And he's like, oh, but I'm kind of scared. She said, I will come out by your side. And even though you're scared, God has told me that this big general, Sisera, is going to be defeated by a woman. And so we'll hear the story of how Sisera is defeated by a woman and how Deborah was able to be one of the strongest leaders of Israel, although I'm very sad we never really hear about her. We always hear about Samson and Gilead and all these other leaders, but Deborah is just as important and just as wonderful. So we are going to learn about her. So where is your treasure? Where are your talents? Are you hiding them or are you developing them? This and other questions we will discern on Sunday. In the meantime, as always, be well, be safe, and of course, be a blessing. Peace.